everyone, welcome to Buy Now Sell Now Weekend. I'm Mubina Kapasi.
Hi everyone, I'm Avan Dabash. Let's get in a start as to what's lined up today on the show. Well, we'll be talking about top investment ideas and discussing individual stocks like Rico Auto as well as BF Utilities.
And as always, in our portfolio segment, we'll be discussing Srinivas's portfolio on the show.
Time to get on board. Our experts then, and Gaurang Shah, VP Geojit BNP Paribas Financial Services, is here to guide us through the fundamentals. And on the technical side, we have with us Ruchit Jain, Technical Analyst Equities at Angel Broking. Great to have you all with us. Let's start off then with our first query for the day. This comes in from P. Chaudhary. He's from Tripura. Now, he wants to know, what is a good investment idea, 3 of them, with a time horizon of the next 6 months? So essentially, some top picks that our experts would suggest that he could look to put his money into. If we map out the first week of 2017, well, it's been fairly volatile. Friday turned out to be a bit of a dampener. By the end of the week, we didn't even manage to clasp on to the 8,300 mark. So what are the top ideas that he can watch out for this entire year? Well, let's get in a view from you, Gaurang, first. 3 investment calls.
Thanks, Pawan. Well, 3 investment calls from a long-term point of view, and long-term from a fundamental point of view translates into at least a year plus kind of a time horizon. And got 3 investment ideas if the time horizon is one and a half year plus. Tata Motors with a target of 580, Axis Bank with a target of about 640, and Aurobindo Pharma with a target of about 980.
Okay, those are some ideas that are coming in on the fundamental side. But Ruchit, come in then on the technicals. What exactly are the stocks that are looking good on the charts which you would advise our viewer to invest in?
Definitely, first pick I would advise is from oil and gas sector. If you observe, this space definitely has outperformed the entire broader markets of the corrective move of last 3-4 months. The BSE oil and gas is trading around its all-time high. It has breached its previous resistance zone. So I think this sector would be one which would continue to do well at least for next 3 to 6 months. GAIL is one of the top pick from that. This stock has seen a time-wise correction, and after a time correction, the prices have given a breakout from a triangular pattern. So we are expecting about 10% upside on the stock from current levels. So one can go long in GAIL from current levels. Keep a stop loss below 427, and on the high side it can be expected targets around 470. My second pick would be from the auto space, that is Mahindra & Mahindra. Although in the recent past the stock has not seen that big up move, but I think the way long-term charts are panning out, the high top high bottom structure is still intact on the weekly, monthly and quarterly charts. And during the recent correction, the prices are now trading near its long-term support zone. So I think it provides a good risk-reward ratio to go long in the stock from current levels. The stock has potential to go up to 1330, and on the upside, if it manages to cross that, then also 1420, 1430 could be expected probably next 3 to 4 months of time frame. And my last pick from this would be buy call in Britannia. Another stock which is trading near its long-term support zone. We have seen that on the weekly and the monthly charts, the stock is in an uptrend. And on the previous occasion, I think during August 2016, the stocks resumed its uptrend from the levels of around 2800 levels. Again, the prices have corrected near that long-term support, and I think a good up move could be seen in the stock. From very short-term perspective, we are expecting targets around 3030. But if we can hold for investment for about 3 to 6 months, then I think the stock has potential to go up to 3200 levels. So GAIL, M&M and Britannia would be the 3 top picks which you can look to invest from 3 to 6 months perspective.
Okay, a slew of ideas that you have to watch out for. That's the view coming in. But let's move right on to our next query. And this one is been sent in from VC Babu. And he's got an email query on Rico Auto. He's purchased 1,000 shares at a price point of 65 and now wants to know whether he should stay invested or should he sell out. Rico Auto and Ruchit, map out the charts for us first. Do you think that this one is a good stock to be in? Would there be other names perhaps that you would advise within the auto space itself, or what exactly is the chart indicating at the current levels?
Well, although in the last couple of months the stock has corrected from 75 to 50-55 range, but this 50-55 zone is a very strong support for the stock considering the long-term charts. In near term, the stock has hurdled around 60, 62, but once it manages to go above 62, I think the stock could see a good upside momentum again up to 68 or 69 levels. So as of now, my advice would be to continue to hold, keep a stop loss below 52 levels, which is the lower end of the recent corrective move, and expect target around 68 to 69, where you can look to exit from the stock.
All right, and Gaurang, comment then on the fundamentals. What does it look like for Rico Auto? And if not Rico Auto, would there be any other stock that you'd like to advise?
Yes, so there are a couple of stock ideas from a long-term point of view in the auto ancillary stroke, original equipment manufacturing, that is OEM space. And our view is with the OEM segment in mind, a stock which has corrected and has now started to perform well on fallback of good earnings visibility and a turnaround in the overseas operations that they have is Motherson Sumi. I remember after the slowdown in Europe, this is one particular stock that went into a tailspin because they had a sizable amount of exposure in that particular geography. And now with the turnaround, our sense is that that geography remains an opportunity, but even in the domestic market, with new launches and replacement market looking ever robust, Motherson Sumi would be a stock investment idea. So if the investor wants to make some churn, then I would advise Motherson Sumi with a target of somewhere close to about 385 long term.
Okay, Motherson Sumi it is. That's the advice coming in from Gaurang. Let's move on to our last query, and it's coming in from Sanjay, who lives in Bangalore. He says he's bought 100 shares of BF Utilities purchased at 450 rupees per share, and he wants to know whether to hold or sell. He has a fairly long-term time horizon of 3 years. So let's try to answer that. Gaurang, coming to you then, BF Utilities is the stock that he's talking about. He's purchased it at 450 rupees, and he's making some losses over there because the stock is closing, the last closing price is at about 394. So what would you advise him?
So Mobina, my sense is that this is particular a stock which has said underperformance for a long time, and there was a time when this stock was a flyer and you used to see moves of 5-10%, but gone are those days. And in terms of earning visibility as well, there is not much of clarity. Don't have any specific coverage on BF Utilities, but here again, if the investor wants to make a change and a shift, then a change and a shift to a pharmaceutical sector, and in the pharmaceutical sector, we're quite upbeat about one particular stock, that is Cipla, trading at somewhere close to about trading or consolidating rather in the range of 550 to 600. And with the new launches and product approval, our sense is that earnings are going to improve to a great extent, and targets of 740 long term are easily achievable. So by doing this change or a shift in your investment, not only will you recoup all your losses, but definitely you will come out in profit as well.
Okay, that's the view coming in on BF Utilities from a fundamental standpoint. But given the fact that Gaurang highlighted some underperformance, Ruchit, tell us what the charts have been like. Is it that, you have seen some sort of selling pressure? Is that likely to abate or continue? What is the reading according to you?
There's a definite downtrend in the stock. We have seen formation of the low top, low bottom structure, I think, since last 5 to 6 months itself in this. Considering the long-term charts, no doubt that the stock is trading near its long-term support since April 2014. On every correction, 400 has acted as a good support. But that does not mean that, just because the stock is trading at its support, we would see any kind of resumption of the uptrend anytime soon. Even volumes are not that favorable whenever we have seen any pullback rallies in the recent past. So I think just because it's at support, we could see a pullback move in the counter anywhere close to his cost price. If he gets an opportunity in probably next 3-4 months, then he should use that opportunity to exit from the stock. I think better he switched to some other stocks where he could manage to get good returns from for his investment. As we have discussed the earlier 3 stocks, GAIL, M&M and Britannia, he can choose any of those stocks and shift from BF Utilities to those stocks.
All right, that's the advice coming in on BF Utilities. It is a weak chart, and hope you've taken note of the advice coming in on the technicals as well as the fundamentals. Let's just slip into a short break, but when we come back, we'll be having our portfolio segment where we'll be discussing all of the chops and changes that our experts will recommend.
back. This is Buy Now, Sell Now Weekend.
Okay, time to get on board our portfolio segment then. And today we'll be discussing Srinivas's portfolio. Let's tell you a bit about him. He's 28 years of age. He's currently employed and he has a medium time horizon of close to about 1 year. So let's tell you all of the stocks that he holds in his portfolio, and it's mostly all mid-cap and small-cap names. So there's Swan Energy, which he's purchased at about 170 rupees, and at this point of time, the stock is bang at the money for him. 1,000 shares of that one. JK Paper, 2,000 shares purchased at a price point of 86 rupees. Ashok Leyland from the auto space, 1,200 shares purchased at 82 rupees. Next up, from the media space, there's Jagran Prakashan as well, which has found a place in his portfolio, purchased at 180 rupees. Asian Granito purchased at 230 rupees, and then there's Equitas purchased at 180 rupees. That one's a pain point for him. He's purchased 500 of those. So let's tell you very quickly on what exactly Gaurang recommends on all of these shares. And Gaurang, two quick takeaways. One is that they're mostly from the mid and small cap space. And secondly, at this point of the time, the shares are not doing anything in terms of generating returns. So let's take you through the first three stocks: Swan Energy, JK Paper, and Ashok Leyland. What would you advise him on these three?
So it is surprising. I think he's associated with pharmaceutical industry, but has no investments in the pharma pack, on which of course we are positive. So he can take a cue on the recommendations that I have given out earlier on Onbiddo as well as Cipla. Other than that, on Swan Energy, well, if you want to be associated with power transmission distribution, then in our sense, Power Grid would be a better choice. A great transmission distribution network and more capacities coming up in terms of power generation will definitely lead the facilities that Power Grid provides in terms of transmission distribution. So from a long-term point of view, you can look at a target of 245 on Power Grid. On JK Paper, well, no specific coverage, but our preference would be a shift to DCB with a target of 135. On Ashok Leyland, well, quite upbeat on this particular stock, and I think time and again on your show and on your channel, I have spoken about this particular stock. We have a positive coverage. Long-term target stands at 115.
Okay, and what's the view on Ashok Leyland? Okay, you gave us a whole recommendation there. Let's move right on then. Quite a few chops and changes being made. Media space, Jagran Prakashan, with respect to the demonetization impact on some of the print companies, what's the outlook given that he's purchased it at 180? Asian Granito, do you track that company closely, and what's the outlook on Equitas?
Well, again, on Jagran Prakashan, hold on to it. You got invested at 180. Our target is 198. So you get a bad day, an opportunity at a lower level. If you have investable, maybe 25-50% of your quantity, whatever you have, you can average. You can hold on to Jagran Prakashan and average as well. On Asian Tiles, well, no specific coverage, but in the similar, in the sector, we have a positive coverage on Kajaria Ceramic with a target of somewhere close to about 565 long term. And on Equitas Holding, well, positive about the MFC, that is microfinance companies, in the NBFC category. And this impact of entire demonetization and now a positive impact of remonetization should play out over a longer period of time and thereby increased, visibility in earnings. Hold on to it with a target of 185 on Equitas.
All right, those are all the chops and changes that Gaurang has recommended. Let's just quickly run you through all of them. First up, it's a sell call from Gaurang on Swan Energy and JK Paper, and he recommends that you actually switch over to a Power Grid where he has a target of 245 rupees and a Development Credit Bank or DCB where he has a target of 135. Ashok Leyland gets a thumbs up from him. Jagran Prakashan as well is a hold from his side where he's watching out for targets of about 198 rupees. But when it comes to Asian Granito, he advises switching over to another stock in the construction material space, and that's Kajaria Ceramics at 565. Equitas as well is a hold.
On that note, we'll run you through a disclaimer that this portfolio is only a model portfolio. Please do consult your individual investment advisor before taking any decisions. We slip into a short break. Stay with us for some top recommendations from our guests when we return.
Welcome back. This is BNSN Weekend.
Okay, let's focus in on the market action that we witnessed on the first week of 2017 for the equity markets. Well, we managed to gain just about 1% and 8,300 still eluded us. In fact, 8,250 by the time we shut shop for the week gone by. There were just fleeting moments where we managed to hold on to those crucial levels. For the Sensex, it was a gain of 130 odd points. The broader end of the market definitely saw stellar outperformance, and this entire week it outperformed the frontliners. Ruchit, let's just get in a sense as to what exactly the outlook is on the index. We've broken out of the 8,200 mark quite convincingly. Are 8,250 and 8,300 some crucial hurdles for us?
Firstly, I think Nifty has formed a very strong support base around the 7,900 mark, where 50% retracement of this entire up move from the previous budget day till 8,900 was placed. Secondly, after forming this positive divergence around this 50% retracement support, we have seen after a long period of time of this consolidation, I mean to say that after almost 3 to 4 months, the short-term moving averages are showing positive crossover of medium-term moving averages. I think if we just observe the 5 and 20 EMA, then in the month of September when Nifty was around 8,800, at that time we saw the negative crossover wherein short-term moving average moved below the 20 EMA, and now after the September, this is for the first time where we have seen again moving averages, a set of moving averages showing a positive crossovers. I think this up move is definitely sustainable. 8,200 is a very crucial support for this coming week, and on the higher side we are expecting target somewhere near to 8,400 in very short term. So I don't think one should read much into Friday's minor corrective move. In case if you get an opportunity around 8,200, 8,220 range, use that as an opportunity to go long and expecting target around 8,400.
Okay, fairly positive on the markets, on the charts. In fact, Ruchit is saying that you can watch out for targets of 8,400 in the short term. Gaurang, coming then, what's your own take on the markets? You know, the Nifty has seen quite some volatile moves in the last week. We've seen the PSU banks as well underperform quite a bit, which do have a heavy weightage on the benchmark. So what's your own sense on how the markets will move?
So, Mubina, well, we were of the view in the month of December when, there was a lot of pessimism, if you can use that word, on the market, and there were a lot of talks about sub 7,600 and 7,500. Our view and opinion was that as we close out the year and the month of December and move on to a new FNO series, that is Jan 2017, and with the expectation of a pre-budget rally, which is likely, the budget is likely to unfold now on 1st Feb 2017, our view was that we would possibly find some hurdle at 8,200, but eventually take over 8,250 and move towards 8,300, and that's what exactly has panned out. And in the month of December itself, second, third week, when we were closer to those levels of sub 8,000, 7,900, we had recommended buy with a little bit of medium-term perspective, anticipating a pre-budget rally. Now with this levels being achieved on Friday, our sense is that there is a possibility when the market would consolidate, and that possibility is more so because of the earnings that is likely to unfold on the Q3 front. And of course, with the budget date coming near, you are going to see some nervousness, and the participant would just want to wait and watch and see what the finance minister has to deliver on 1st Feb 2017. With that view, well, if you have an opportunity, if you have an investment and your view is short to medium term, I think closer to 8,300 it would be pretty prudent to liquidate your investment from a short to medium term point of view. And if you have a low risk appetite, any opportunity if you get in the future closer to 8,000, I think it's going to be a great opportunity to get invested from a long term point of view. Only request is that you need to be careful what sectors you're buying, and within those sectors that is there on your radar, what are the stocks that you identified. But we remain quite optimistic about the market, and we're quite sure that long term you will get decent returns if you have identified where to buy and understood what you bought.
There you have it. That's a view coming in on the markets and right levels to invest. Time to get in those picks then. And Ruchit, what have you pinpointed on the charts?
There are two mid-cap picks from very short-term trading perspective. First one is Motherson Sumi. We have seen some good consolidation in last 6 months, wherein post-August the stock has seen a trading in a broad range of 330 to 290 on the lower side. Now in the recent up move, firstly we have seen formation of higher top higher bottom structure on the 60 minutes as well as the daily charts. Secondly, the moving average crossovers strategy is indicating trended action in the near future in this stock. So I think with the higher probability of the resistance 330, 335 would be broken out, and even the RSI would breach its resistance of 60, which it is not breached since the month of August, and the stock could head higher towards making another new highs in next 2 to 3 weeks. So one can go long in Motherson Sumi, keeping a strict stop loss below 318, expecting target around 364. And my second call would be in the mid cap would be a pick in PTC India. If you observe, then on Thursday's trading session, this stock has given a breakout of falling trendline resistance, and even if you club the volumes with the price breakout, then the volumes were significantly higher than what usually we see on a daily basis. So it's a breakout with a very good volumes, and the broader trend of the stock definitely seems to be positive only. On the higher side, the stock has potential to test its previous highs of 84. So one can go long in PTC India, keeping a stop loss below 73 for target of 84, and both the picks would be from 2 to 3 weeks perspective.
Oh yes, please keep that caveat in mind. It's a short-term trading strategy that's coming in from Ruchit. PTC India and Motherson Sumi are the two stocks that he has identified. But for investors who have more of a long-term time horizon, 1 year and counting, Gaurang, tell us, what are your wealth creation ideas?
So again, I would pick a pharma mid-cap stock, and Natco Pharma is the stock. On earnings, well, we are extremely comfortable. On hurdles in terms of any regularity issue, we don't see any. And in terms of product launches, a great earning visibility. This particular company in the mid-cap, if you will, has been delivering on the numbers great over the last many quarters, and the roadmap ahead is absolutely clear, visible and flat out, which makes us more confident in terms of our targets getting achieved close to about 685, and these are very conservative targets, mind you. With the kind of run rate that the company Natco Pharma has over a period of time, I'm quite sure that these targets would be revised as earnings visibility will improve, and we have clarity in terms of their new launches. Investment has also been quite great in terms of R&D and product find, and that also gives us an added comfort zone. So Natco Pharma, with a 1 year plus time horizon, we have a target of 685. The next one is from the alternative fuel, and that is Petronet LNG. Great company. After consolidating for a very long period between 225 and 265, the stock has moved up to somewhere close to about 385, 380 levels. Again, entering that consolidation zone. But if you look at the bottleneck in the southern facility, well, the management has been able to resolve that very well, and now debottlenecked that particular hitch that was there. Investment in that Dahej facility is auguring extremely well, and with the government focus on cleaner and greener fuels, we believe that the consumption of CNG and LNG is going to only inch up. And this is clear from the fact that recently we had introduction of engines for two-wheelers to run on these alternative fuels, and the government focus is also to make available these alternative fuels rather than making it seen available at metro tier 2 tier 3 cities, even on the highways. So with this whole the entire perspective in mind, and the kind of growth that lies ahead and the investment that the company has done, we believe Petronet LNG is a decent investment idea from a 1 year plus time horizon, and the target stands at somewhere close to about 445.
There you have it. Top wealth creation ideas to watch out for. Gaurang, thanks very much for sharing those ideas with us. On that note, then, we would like to thank both Gaurang and Ruchit for joining in today on the show and helping out our viewers. And we wrap it up. Thanks so much to our viewers for watching. Have a great weekend.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/etnow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at etnowlive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/etnow.